Welcome to Split Specific, your channel for useful splitboarding knowledge. Today, we're talking about how to care for your skins in the field. So let's get to it. Okay, so good skincare in the field starts at home. So some days I'm going to decide to put my skins on in the house. Kind of depends on how far my drive is. If I have a pretty quick drive, something usually like under an hour, then I'll throw the skins on in my house and I don't have to worry about doing that in the parking lot. Big reasons for doing that is parking lots are usually windy and cold, and so this just prevents me having to dink around in the parking lot for a while with all my gear. So it's really important when we are putting our skins on our splitboard to actually put them on accurately and properly. It's going to help their longevity throughout the day, and it's going to help me while I'm skinning uphill. So whenever I'm putting my skins on, I'm going to have them folded up like this. I don't use the skin savers. I just go glue to glue because that just saves me a step. It's totally fine for the skins, and I don't have to worry about those skin savers blowing away on me when I'm up in the mountains. So as you can see here, I've already half torn off the tip of this skin, so it's really important that I do this properly so I don't tear the skin more. And this is just how I put the skins on every day anyways. So I set my tip loop up, and then I'm going to start pulling my skin down to stretch it out over the board. What I don't want to do is start pulling directly on the tip clip here, because that's going to break that or wear it out over time. So what I do instead is I get this set here with a little bit of the glue touching the base. I put the heel of my palm over the skin to hold the pressure, and then I pull down. I line it up. And notice I just did like a quarter of the skin there. I didn't just rip the whole skin. Pull a little bit more, line it up. And then I'm going to smooth the skin out with my hand down the direction of the fibers and get that skin contacting all of my base. And what that's going to do is it's going to help keep snow off of my skin later and prevent the skin from falling off. Then I'll go back here to my tail clip, get that tensioned on there. And last thing, when you're lining these up, it's really important to make sure that we get our skin in between the edges, so that way none of the skin is hanging over the edge of the ski. That's going to prevent snow from building up there. It's going to prevent snow from getting inside and causing the glue to fail. And it's also going to protect our skin from getting tore up by our edges. So that's smoothed out, good to go. You can see my tip there is a little wonky. I'm going to have to fix that, but it'll do for today. And I'm just going to pack my board up and get ready to go hit the mountain. So when you're packing up to get ready to go, one way to pack your snowboard up to make it easier to carry is I can tie it together with a ski strap. So this works the way I'm about to do it, especially well if you have a hard boot setup. Here in a sec I'll have Courtney show you how to do that with a soft boot setup. But what I do is I just match the skis up together, get them in line, set them down, brace it with my foot so they don't slide on the hardwood floors or the fake hardwood floors. And I'm just going to take a ski strap off one of my poles. I like to nest my poles together so they're not flying all over the place. I'll just set them right in between my tech toes there. Take my ski strap. Make sure everything's lined up. Pull it tight. Mess it up. And get it set again. And now my board's in an easy package. I can carry with me. It's not flying all over the place. And even with the poles, I kind of have like a little handle here so I can carry it out to the car.
All right, now we're gonna go over how to take your ski strap and connect your board with a soft boot setup. So I'm just going to take my strap and go through the base of my binding here and around through the other one. Slide it through, pull it tight. And then poke it through. You're good to go.
Okay, so now I'm at the top of my run and I want to get my skins off my board and taken care of without getting a ton of snow and moisture on them. So the number one detriment to our skins sticking to our board again is moisture, snow, and cold. Some companies say that their glue works better when it's cold. I have yet to find that to be true, so I'm usually doing my best to keep them kind of warm and keep them clean. So to take my skins off, I always, after I take my skis off, like to just slam my skis in nose first, because that just makes it easier for me to start at the tail and work my way down. This method I'm going to show you is really quick and it keeps everything clean and simple, and it really reduces the risk of getting snow on your skins. And also in a place like Hidden Valley where it's super windy out here today, it's going to help prevent my skins from flying around in the wind. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at the tail here. So I'm just going to pop that off. And these G3 skins are probably the stickiest glue I've had yet, so this might take some force. But I'm going to pull the skin down to like 2/3. I'm going to pick up my board, slam it in the snow, continue pulling, and then when I get to the halfway or like a quarter mark here, I'm going to find my halfway mark. For me, that's really easy to spot by this crease. If you can't spot it easily on your skin, you can always just like draw a line at the halfway point with a Sharpie or something like that. Stick them together, and then I just pull. And now my skins are folded up. There's a little bit of the glue hanging off the edge here. You can see some here. That's totally fine. How anal I get about these being matched up really well kind of depends on the weather. Now, they're never going to match up perfectly because the tail and nose of our boards are different sizes most of the time, so they're never going to line up perfect. But if it's really good weather, y'all are chilling, you know, you can try and get these lined up really well. For me, if there's like some bits hanging off, I don't care. Now what I'm going to do is fold them up nice and clean here. That way they're not taking up a ton of room. And on a day like today where it's really cold, I'm transitioning in my jacket, it's really windy, and I'm gonna take a lot of laps. These are gonna go in my jacket. So I just stuff these in, kind of like almost underneath my armpits. And then when I put my backpack back on, that'll keep the skins from falling out of my coat. If you have bibs on like I do, I've been kind of digging, just pulling the bib out and like tucking them in my bibs lately. That's been working pretty well. Point is, we want to keep the skins warm. If I'm only taking 1 or 2 laps, it's kind of nice weather out, I'll just throw them in my pack. I like having them in my pack more for sure. It's more comfortable, but keeping them in the jacket is what I need to do to keep them functioning throughout the day. So I'm going to do that. Okay, so sometimes if you have a totally messed up skin top like this, or just with normal skins in general, we do get some snow that comes in underneath the tip there. And sometimes that'll happen on the tail too. The more and more you get that built up in there, the less your skins are gonna stick to the base of your board. And so it's really good to take care of that and make sure that you're cleaning up your skins throughout the day to get them to stick again. So if you're finding your skins aren't sticking super well, a few tricks to help clean those up. One thing I'll do is I'll slam my board in between my feet here. So now my edge is facing away from me. And then I'll take this skin and just clean the snow off like that. That's totally okay. It's not bad for the skin. It's not bad for your board. You just throw it in there and that'll help clean stuff up. Last ditch effort, if your skins aren't sticking even after that, is we're gonna towel off with this thing. So I put the glue side against my butt. And I just start working that thing, getting all the snow off, creating friction, warming it up. And usually that will give you a little bit of life left in your skins. Alright, now that I'm back down to the base, after I split my board, I like to get them slammed into the snow with the tails down into the snow. That sets me up for success when I go to set these up, so I'm not picking them up, spinning them around. It's just more efficient. So I'm going to get my skins out of my boat, match up the ski that it goes to. And then I'm just going to do the same thing I was showing you at the house earlier, where I grab that top, pull down a bit, and I keep lining it up like that until I get to the bottom. One of the mistakes I see people making a lot is that they pull the whole skin out like this, and then they're just like trying to line it up from afar here. And you can see in the wind my skin's getting blown around. If there's blowing snow, it'd be getting caught on my skin. And it's just a lot harder to line the skin up that way compared to if I just went from the top and lined it up along the way. Once I've got that skin lined up, this gets more and more important throughout the day. I'm really going to smooth that skin out. Get out all the bubbles and try and massage it down in. Create a little bit of friction and really try and get as much contact as I can. Okay, so I'm back here at home. My skins are nice and wet from riding today. I came home and changed into my comfy clothes, and now I just want to show you how to take care of your skins once you get back home. So I like to do this pretty quickly when I get back. Usually like change out of my ski gear and then get my skins hanging to dry. One of the worst things you can do for your skin glue is to just leave them wet in your pack for days on end. So it's nice to just get these out, dry them out. So what I do is grab them here and then I'll separate them out. And so it's kind of a pain in the butt to pull them apart like that a lot of times. You know, sometimes when they're wet, they'll just pull apart pretty easily. But if they're not coming apart super easily, one technique you can do is wrap them around your knees and then spread your knees apart. And that'll pop your skins open just like that. And then I'm gonna go hang these up to dry. So when I hang them up in my house, I always hang them up like this, glue side to the air, and I don't hang them like directly in front of a heat source. I just kind of hang them somewhere in the house. For me and kind of the small home that I live in, I'll show you here in a sec where I hang them at. It is right next to my furnace, but it's not in direct heat from my furnace. In fact, it's actually kind of like this cold corner where the furnace doesn't blow. And I leave them hanging like this until about when the glue or when the water dries off of the glue. So you'll see like little water spots on your skins. Once those kind of dry off, I'll then fold my skins back together, keep them hanging, and then just let the plush dry from there. The big thing is I don't want my skins hanging out with the glue exposed for a super long time. That's how they get a ton of dust on them. They gather just like whatever's blowing around in our house, and it makes the glue not last as long. So I just let them dry for an hour, fold them up, and then let them finish drying just like that. So I'm gonna go hang these up right now. I'll show you my drying system, and then I'll just talk about storage. So here you can see where I'm hanging my stuff. This is kind of just this like cluster of gear here next to the furnace, gloves and everything. But there's my skins hanging up. In about an hour, I'll go through and fold those up and then just let them finish drying from there. All right, so one final note on this with skincare and how I store these once they're dry. I'm out riding pretty often, so I just fold them up glue to glue, and I put them in their bag because it's labeled for what board they go to, and then I just throw them in my gear closet. My gear closet's kind of a dry, not super warm place. You don't want to put them in too warm of a spot, just like a general room temperature place is going to be fine. I don't use skin savers hardly ever. Most of the skins I've been using the last couple of years are the Pomoka branded ones, and they don't even come with skin savers. So just fold them up glue to glue and put them away. If you're riding often, it's totally fine. If you're not riding that often and you do have skin savers, there's nothing wrong with throwing them on there for long-term storage. I will for the skins that I have that do have skin savers. I will store them like that over the summertime, but for most of the winter, they just kind of stay in storage and I don't use them. And I definitely don't bring them out into the field with me because I don't want those blown away in the wind or having to deal with anything like that. So yeah, just glue to glue, pack them in the bag, and your skin should last you season to season. Cool. Thanks for watching, and remember to like and subscribe.